Well, hello everyone. This is Juanette over at Juanette's Paper Crafts. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification button. In today's video tutorial, we are going to be making this beautiful card that has an insert that also has poppies on it. It stands on its own and it was inspired by Sam over at Mixed Up Crafts. Thanks, Sam, for your inspiration and for being such a great teacher. If you need any of the supplies, please contact me at my 24/7 online store and I would be more than happy to help you. So this is what you will need for this project. Now I only used the dies from the Painted Poppies set, and I've gone ahead and die cut them out using real red cardstock. Then for the happy birthday, I used Timeless Tulips. Now I know that is a retired embossing folder, but it seemed to work the best. Then you will need 2 pieces of 4 1/4 by 4-inch cardstock, 2 pieces of 2 by 3 1/2, 1 piece of 3 by 4, and 2 pieces of 4 1/4 by 1 1/4, and then also some ribbon. And I've gone ahead and die cut those out. Now for each flower, you will need 2 of the larger images and 1 of the detailed image. I took our shimmer paint, and you've seen me do this before, where you put a few drops into a spritzer, add some alcohol, and then you spray it on each of your images. And it gives it a really nice shine, almost like using the wink of Stella. And you want them pretty damp. Now again, like I said, you will need 2 of those larger pieces. The one I'm picking up now, you will need 2 of those for each flower, and then 1 of the detailed one. And so then while they're still wet, you're going to crinkle them all up, bend them up, and that's going to give them some nice texture. So 2 of those per flower, and then 1 of the detailed ones. And I have die cut both the larger ones and the smaller images. See, that one you will only need 1 of for each of the flowers. And then I got smart and layered 3 of them up together and crunched them up. I did not fold up the leaves. I kept them just like they are, and also the little stamens that are cut in black. I did not fold them up either. And as you can see, is after a while, because those images are fairly fragile, I only bent up the center part and then just set them aside to dry. So let's make our flower pot. So you will take your 2 pieces of 4 1/4 by 4-inch cardstock, and I used the thick Whisper White 110-pound cardstock because you want it to be sturdy. You're going to lay it in your scoreboard on the 4-inch side, and you're going to put a little tick mark at 3/4 of an inch, flip it over, and do exactly the same thing on the other side. Take your second one and do the same thing. 3/4 of an inch on the 4-inch side on both sides. Then you're going to take your piece of 2 by 3.5, and you have 2 of those, and along the 2-inch side you are going to score at 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, and 1.5. And you're going to do that on both of those. 1/2, 1, and 1.5. Then you're going to take those pieces and you're going to fold and burnish. So your first fold line is a mountain fold, then a valley fold, and then lastly a mountain fold. And then take your bone folder and burnish those really nicely. So that's what you'll have, 2 mountains and a valley. And you'll do exactly the same thing on the other piece. Then you will take your pieces of cardstock that have your little tick marks in them, bring in your trimmer. Now you could, if you would like, is take a ruler and mark where you're going to cut with a pencil, but I didn't need to do that. So you're going to lay your tick mark in the little ridge that will cut. And before I cut, I realized I've got lots of paper snippets on my cutting blade. So this is a little tip on how you take care of that. You take an old toothbrush, and to clean out your track of your paper trimmer, you just use that to clean it out with. So I keep one on my desk for that reason. So again, you will take your cardstock, lay the tick mark at the 3/4 inch into the little groove, and then the bottom there into the other little track. And then you will start at the top with your cutting blade and cut down to just pull off 2 little wedges. And you will do that on both sides, or excuse me, both pieces. Well, you do it on both sides, but you also do it on 2 pieces. Oh my gosh. My tongue is not working yet this morning, as if it ever does, really. And do you see, both of those are the exact same size. Then you will bring in your detailed trio punch, and you are going to corner round off. Now this piece here is your pull-out panel, and again, it is thick whisper white, and it measures 3 inches by 4 inches. So you're going to corner round the bottom there, and this is the piece that will have the sentiment happy birthday on it, and then also the 2 lips for the flower pot, and those measured 4¼ by 1¼ and they're the rim again of your flower pot, and you're going to round off both sides at the bottom. And sorry for the shakiness of the camera when I press down on that. Now I know, like I said, this embossing folder is retired, but it's just perfect for this project. You could use any embossing folder that you want, but I thought this is a birthday card that a coworker had requested that I make for her mother, so I wanted it to be perfect. So That's why I'm using that, but you can use any embossing folder. So what you're going to do is emboss the flower pot itself. And you're going to do both of those pieces, the front and back of the flower pot. Isn't that pretty? I love it. So now to assemble the flowers, you will need a total of 2 large ones and 4 small ones. So I took the black Stampin' Dimensionals and added 1 in the center, then offset the second flower on top of it. That gives it a little bit more dimension. Then added another Stampin' Dimensional, added that detailed section, and then a mini black Stampin' Dimensional on the back of the stamen there, and then added it to the center of the flower. And like I said, you will need 2 of these large flowers and 4 of the smaller ones. And isn't that glimmer so pretty in that poppy? Now this is the pot rim, and I took some foam tape and added it to the back of that. Now you want to make sure that you leave, maybe a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch on both sides clear, because you don't want to see that as you're looking at the flower pot from the side. Then remove the backing paper and add it to the front of your flower pot. And what I found is, as I'm sticking it on there, I discovered it was easier if I laid it down flat, and then I could see both sides of the rim to make sure I had equal amount on both sides. Then I took some real ribbon, real red ribbon. It's real ribbon, yeah. Real red ribbon, and added it to the front of the flower pot, just using some Scotch tape to adhere it to the back. And I did this before I glued the front and back of the flower pot together. So I just kind of line it up there, turn it over, add the Scotch tape to the back, pulling it around to the other side and doing the same thing. So now we're going to add our concertina sides to the pot. And what you want to do, I freeze framed it a little bit there. You want to make sure that both of your concertina sides have the valley part toward the center of the part. And in a second, I'm going to show you how it looks after the card is assembled, just so you will know that. And don't ask me why I know that. I glued it on wrong the first time. So you see how, there it is. So valley toward the center, valley toward the center. And then now I'm going to continue assembling the card. That was a little bit out of order, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that so you didn't make the same mistake that I did. So we're just putting the rim on the back of the flower pot. And then you're going to add glue to both sides of the concertina folds. And it didn't really matter where you put those on each side, whether you put it a 1/2 inch up or a half inch down or whatever. The main thing is that the flower pot itself, the front and the back, line up, and in that way the flower pot will stand up on its own. So now I'm going to start decorating it, and I end up putting two of the smaller flowers on each side of that rim, and then the larger one in the middle. I ended up adding the leaves from the Painted Poppies die set here and there. So I will connect back with you toward the end of the video, but for now we're going to put on a little bit of music for your enjoyment, fast forward everything, and let you watch me decorate it. And then just to finish off the card, I took the Love You from the Well Written die set and cut that out of real red cardstock, cut two rectangular postage stamp using that punch, and then took my hot glue gun and a skewer, which you could use any size skewer, snapped off a little bit, added some of the glue from the glue gun to the back of that postage stamp die cut, adhered the skewer to it, make sure it's straight. Then I took some Stampin' Dimensionals, added them to the back of that. That would help it be more in line with the skewer and the back cardstock area. Removed the backing off of it, added some more glue from my glue gun, and then added that postage stamp over the top of it. And that finishes it off a little bit more in the back, so it looks a little bit neater. You could add some rhinestones to that love you. And then what you're going to do is, depending on where your flowers are in your pot, you will glue this little stick to the back of the front of the pot. So add some glue from your glue gun and adhere it to the back of the front of the card. So on the inside there, just press it down and wiggle it to where it looks like it is in a good spot. Now I decided that I needed one more flower to go behind that love you, and that's why I waited until I had the love you little sign in there before I glued it down, because I wanted to see where I could position it well. So I just added a little bit of glue from the glue gun, adhered that to that inside panel, which will slide in to the card in that back little area. That's where that goes. In the front little area is where the little sign is. And so that is the card. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And again, I want to thank Sam over at Mixed Up Craft. Make sure you guys check out her channel. She is absolutely fantastic. All her tutorials are just so professional and so well done. To finish off the card, I tied a little bow with real red ribbon and adhered it to the front of the card. I love how the card stands up on its own. Now I did have to make a custom envelope for it, but I don't mind doing that. I just take my 12 by 12 paper and use my envelope punch board and make whatever size envelope I need. I just love dimension of cards and layers of cards, so I never mind making my own envelope. Thank you for joining me today. If there's anything I can do to help you out, please let me know. If you need any supplies, visit my 24/7 online store, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.